Hi, I'm Mo, and I'm coming out as sex positive.
Does that mean you like to have sex like all the time?
No, being sex positive doesn't mean you like to have sex all the time, but I do because I'm positively sexy.
I'm positively sexy too, so how can I also be sex positive?
Well, let me tell you about it. The core of sex positivity is about owning one's sexuality. For some people, that means having a lot of sex. For others, it means having no sex at all. Ultimately, sex positivity aims to remove stigma and shame from all sexual choices.
I know what you mean. Growing up in China, I never dared to openly talk about sex because that would make me look like a slut. Female sexuality has always been viewed as irrelevant and even submissive.
And I grew up in Los Angeles, California, in a home that emphasized career and personal development over relationships and sex, thanks to my Asian mom. But people around me were openly talking about sex, even as early as in middle school. I know it's hard to believe, but I was a late bloomer. So it took me a lot longer to be comfortable just talking about sex and also having sex.
And I know where that stigma comes from. In ancient China, people believe that you can become immortal by having sex with thousands of young virgins. Chinese emperors were even provided a roster of women to choose from. So their schedules probably consist of sex from Monday through Saturday and diplomacy on Sunday.
In ancient Greece, Aristotle believed that women's bodies were passive receptacles for men to deposit their seed. Sophocles called it a field to plow. But in modern times, the hippies we love to hate have brought their culture of free love, and thus sex positivity was born. And nowadays, social media has made sex positive messages more accessible to the public. I follow people like Ari Fitz and Carly Sortino who have helped me explore my own queer and sexual interests.
Asia has also undergone a lot of revolutionary changes. For my ancestors, they could barely feed themselves. But nowadays, thanks to the economic development, young people can focus more on personal pleasures. But compared to the West, the social environment is still stifling, and many women still feel ashamed about talking about their genitals. Sex education is really lagging behind in Asia. I remember in my high school, I only had like 1 or 2 sex ed classes. We were shown some diagrams of human bodies, and that's it. We don't even have your typical condom on the banana demo.
Sex ed in America isn't actually that much better. Most schools don't go into explicit details about straight sex and never mention gay sex. So by the time I graduated high school, I didn't know shit. But don't worry, ladies, I've learned a lot since then.
Due to the lack of education in China, unexpected pregnancy rate is pretty high because people know very little about contraceptive use.
So Ashley, where do people learn about sex? The internet?
It's also very challenging in China because there are severe censorship and regulations. The government bans morally hazardous content, including teenage romance, extramarital affairs, and homosexuality. A lot of sex scenes are cut out in movies and cropped in to avoid nudity.
And all of this may seem trivial, like who cares if you can't watch Mila Kunis and Natalie Portman do it in Black Swan? But for many people, including myself, it's movies like Black Swan that helped me understand who I am, a huge lesbian.
Most of the Asian countries are still autocratic, and the culture of shame is still prevalent in modern societies. So exploring your own bodies and pleasures can be seen as unorthodox and rebellious.
But we need to be sex positive because it enhances sexual health, increases sexual safety, and fosters self-love. So here are 5 tips to become more sex positive.
First, examine and educate yourself. Take time to introspect on your relationship with your body and think about where does your shame come from.
Sex is already a weird thing to navigate, and even more so for queer people who not only feel shame about sex, but their sexual orientation as well.
But today, access to information is easy as pie. So do your research. You don't need to emulate porns or TV shows or movies. There are many queer and sex-positive sources out there.
Second, learn what your body likes. Go f yourself, literally. Masturbating is a great way to figure out what makes you feel good. And you can use the information you learn from your private session to have better sex with your partner.
3. Communicate your wants. Don't be afraid to talk about sex and communicate what you like. And make sure to listen to your partner's wants too.
Number 4, understand that sex is normal. I mean, that's how most of us were made. When a mommy and a daddy fall in love.
Or one day... 5. Sexuality takes many shapes. It doesn't matter what you're into. Whether you're gay, straight, or somewhere in between, as long as it's consensual,
You're good to go.
Hi guys, thank you so much for watching this video.
Let us know in the comments what steps you're taking to become more sex positive.
And make sure to like and subscribe to our channel.
Crazy Queer Asians.